Om Shanti. Good morning, everyone. Hope you had a beautiful Amrit Vela. Baba. This Murli Baba is giving us a beautiful experience around language of eyes, language of love. Baba is teaching us a whole new language that goes beyond words, beyond sound. So, Baba is the original Murli spoken by Baba on 4th of December 1985. So Baba says, the essence for today's Murli is the language of thoughts is the most elevated language. So I just want to give a pause, give some time to reflect on this very statement Baba is telling. The language of thoughts. What is a thought? Is it a statement in our head? Is it made up of sounds? Is it made up of words? Or is it made up of feelings? What is that language of thought? So Baba is going to elaborate that in more detail today. So Baba says, today there is a double gathering of those with double forms in front of Bab Dada. Both are gatherings of loving children. One is the gathering of the children in their corporeal form. Other is the gathering of loving children in their subtle forms. Take a minute. We can be part of that gathering. Make yourself very subtle. Make yourself sit before that Avyakt Baba, the subtle Baba in the subtle region. And Baba is talking to us who are there before him in the subtle form. Today there is a double gathering of those with double form in front of Baba. Both are gatherings of loving children. One is the gathering of the children in their corporeal form. The other gathering is of the loving children in their subtle form. While celebrating a meeting with Baba, the ocean of love, all children everywhere in their subtle forms are revealing their love in front of Bab Dada. Make yourself take that moment to open your heart, express your love for Baba. Celebrate this meeting with the ocean of love, our Baba. Bab Dada is listening to all the children's thoughts of love. Their various thoughts of zeal and enthusiasm in their hearts, and as well as the various feelings in their hearts. Bab Dada is also listening to the sweet things the children say about their rights, because they have a right to a loving relationship. Each child is putting clearly in front of Baba the conditions of his heart, dil ka hal, the conditions of the circumstances of their various activities and their service news, with the language of eyes and the language of elevated, loving thoughts. So through your eyes, you express your bhavna. And through the elevated thoughts, you express what's going on inside your mind. Bab Dada is listening to all the children's heart-to-heart conversation in all three forms. One conversation is through the language of eyes, Bhavna ki Bhasha. Second conversation is the conversation of feelings. And third is a language of thoughts. The language of words is a common language, whereas these three languages are the languages of a spiritual yogi life, which only the spiritual children and the spiritual father know and experience. Language of thoughts, language of feelings, and language of eyes. Only you and Baba understands. Language of words is common. The more you become introverted, antarmukhi, and remain stable in sweet silence, the more experience you will be able to give to all souls through these three languages. In order to give experience, stay antarmukhi and stabilize in that sweet silence. The more experience you will be able to give to all souls through these three languages. These alaukic languages are so powerful. Eyes, feelings, and thoughts. The majority of the people are now tired of listening to and speaking the language of words. Speaking the language of words, it takes time to clarify a situation. Whereas the language of eyes is the language of just giving signals. The language of feelings in the mind is revealed by the expression on your face. The expression on your face reveals the feelings in your mind. For instance, when someone goes in front of another person, the person's eyes and features speak as to whether that person has come with love, with animosity, or with selfish motive. So, you can know and speak the language of feelings through the expression on the face. Similarly, the language of thoughts is the most elevated language of all because the power of thought is the most elevated power. It is the original power, and the fastest language of all is the language of thoughts. No matter how far away someone is, and even if you don't have any means of communication, you can give that one a message with the language of thoughts. At the end, it will be this language of thoughts that will be useful. When the facilities of science fail, these facilities of silence will be useful. However, in order to make a connection, the line must always be kept clear. So one more condition. To speak this language of thoughts, feelings, and eyes, you need to be antarmukhi, introverted, and stabilize in sweet silence. And one more thing Baba just added is, in order to make a connection, the line must always be kept clear. And which line? Line of intellect. The more you practice remaining constantly busy with the One Father, with the knowledge that He has given you, and in doing service with that knowledge, the clearer your line will become with those elevated thoughts. any disturbance is caused by waste thoughts. The more you finish all waste and just have powerful thoughts, the more clearly people will experience the elevated language of thoughts. So another thing, no waste thoughts. So line will be clear. So what's on your mind, people can feel what's on your mind. The more you finish all waste and just have powerful thoughts, the more clearly people will experience the elevated language of thoughts. Just as people experience the language of words, in a second, the language of thoughts can give anyone a much greater experience than the language of words can. You can give the experience of the essence of 3 minutes talk in a second with the language of thoughts. You can enable them to experience Jivan Mukti in a second, liberation in life in a second. That has been remembered. Jivan Mukti in a second has been remembered. The language of introverted souls, Antarmukhi, Atma, is this Ruhani Bhasha language. The language of introverted soul is this introverted language. Now, according to the time, you will experience easy success with all of these three languages. It will take less effort and less time, but success will be easy. So, now practice this spiritual language. So, today, Bab Dada is listening to the children through these three languages: language of eyes, language of thoughts, and language of feelings. Baba is listening to the children and also giving a response to all the children. Seeing everyone's form of deep love, Bab Dada is merging all of that love in the ocean of love. He is giving everyone the elevated blessing of making everyone's remembrance a memorial. Knowing the different feelings in each one's mind, Bab Dada is giving all the children the response of all of those feelings with the pure wishes. And what is the wish? May you always be free from obstacles. May you be powerful. May you be full of all powers. With the pure wishes of the Father, whatever the pure wishes of the children are, whatever the feelings of cooperation and good wishes are according to the situation, all of those pure wishes will continue to be fulfilled with Bab Dada's elevated wishes. Whilst moving along, sometimes the karmic accounts of the past come in front of some children in the form of test paper, whether it is in the form of illness of the body, wasteful storms of the mind, or in the form of relationships and connections. Sometimes, instead of receiving cooperation from those who are closely cooperative, there is a slight conflict. And why is there a conflict? Why are there storms in the mind? Why is there illness? Because of some karmic account. So, however, all of those old accounts and old debts are being settled. Therefore, instead of getting caught up with the upheavals, make your intellects powerful. Then, with the power of your intellects, instead of experiencing those old debts as debts, you will always experience them to be responsible for constantly enabling you to pass. what happens is that because your intellect does not have power, you experience the debt as a burden. Why do we experience a burden? Lack of power in the intellect. Then, because of having that burden, you are unable to take the right decision with your intellect. And because of not taking the right decision, the burden takes you even further down. What you cannot then achieve the heights of achievement, heights of success. And this is why instead of the debt being settled, in some cases, it keeps increasing. Therefore, the way to settle all your old debts is to keep your intellect constantly clear. Do not keep any burden in your intellect. Burden is karmic account. Burden is storms in your mind. Burden is your bodily accounts, connections, relations. Do not keep any burden in your intellect. The lighter you keep your intellect, the more the power of the intellect will easily enable you to achieve success. So, don't be afraid. Finish. Finish the waste thoughts that create a burden, such as, why did this happen? What happened? Perhaps it is like this. And keep the line of your intellect clear. Keep it light. Then, with your courage and Baba's help, you will continue to experience success. With your courage and Baba's help, together, you will continue to experience success. Do you understand? Instead of being double light, you take a double burden. Will the double burden of the accounts of the past and the waste thoughts take you up or bring you down? This is why Bab Dada is especially drawing the attention of all of you children. Always continue to settle any burden that is on your intellects. Any type of burden changes the yoga of the intellect into the suffering of karmic accounts. Therefore, always keep your intellects light. So the power of yoga and the power of intellect will finish any type of suffering. Everyone's different form of enthusiasm, everyone's different form of enthusiasm for service has reached Baba. What is reaching? Not Seva. Enthusiasm for the service is reaching Baba. To whatever extent that someone is doing service, altruistically, with an honest heart, the Lord is pleased. The sign of the Lord being pleased is the contentment in your heart and the success in your service. Whatever you have done so far has been good, and what you are still doing is all good. As you progress further, it will be even better. This is why Bab Dada is giving all the children everywhere love and remembrance in the form of a blessing. Constantly continue to progress and to continue to grow by using the right method. Together with this blessing, Bab Dada is giving multi-million fold love and remembrance. Babdada is giving a response as well as congratulations to all the children who have sent handwritten letters or letters through their mind. May you always continue to live this elevated life whilst making elevated effort. Continue to live this elevated life whilst making elevated effort. With such elevated feelings of love, Babdada's love, remembrance, and namaste. So let's take a minute to soak in being that subtle angel, being present before Baba, the ocean of love. Baba who can read the expressions of love, the feelings of love in your mind, the feelings of your eyes, the elevated thoughts, giving a response of love, being antarmukhi and very stable in that silence, sweet silence, making your intellect very light, with clean and clear line and connection, settling all our karmic accounts with our body, with any situation, with connections and relations, and becoming more and more light in this elevated life, taking that step of courage, taking all the love and support from Baba, becoming double light. Being very content with yourself, with drama, with Baba, with family. So Baba continues, you have heard a lot. Baba is also saying we had a lot of language of words. You heard a lot. Just try and calculate and see approximately how much you have heard. So many Murlis, so many classes, so many experiences, so many inspirations. Are both you are listening and doing simultaneous? Or is there a difference between your listening and doing? Why do we listen? In order to do that, what will happen when both your listening and doing becomes equal? You will become complete, will you not? So, will you become the first sample of the perfect stage? Why does each one of you not say, I will become that? Those who take the initiative in this are Arjunas. Just as Baba made himself an instrument, so too those who become instruments become Arjuna. That is why, that is, they claim the first number. Acha, we shall see who becomes that. Babdada wants to see the children become that. Years are going by. Just as the years are passing by, so the old ways also pass by. Let there always be new enthusiasm and new thoughts. Nayi umang, nayi sonj. For this is a sign of perfection. Newness is a sign of perfection. All of you finished everything old at Deep Mala. Did you not? You celebrated Diwali. Did you not? So at Diwali, everything old finished. Now, let everything be new. Acha. So, and there is a question, what is the basis of coming close to Baba? Baba says, the specialities is the basis of coming close to Baba. It is the specialities you children have that have brought you close to Baba. Try to acknowledge this woman. You are not only unique, but you are also very special. The specialities that you children have brought you closer to Baba. The specialities you have in you are now to be revealed as a special sample in front of everyone. Let's take a minute to recognize your own speciality. Each one of us recognized Baba, that itself is a speciality. Each one of us can comprehend Baba's Gyan and experience Baba's love. And that itself is a speciality. And all the virtues, powers, and the wisdom that each one of us carry is the speciality that brought us close to Baba. Whatever specialities you have, continue to grow through service. Use for service all the specialities that the Father has filled you with. By using those specialities practically, you will also receive marks in the subjects of service. Relate your experiences. Do not just keep them with yourself. Use your experiences in service, and the zeal and enthusiasm of others will increase. Use your experiences in service, specialities, and also experiences, and the zeal and enthusiasm of others will increase. Bab Dada always sees the specialities of the special souls and use them for his task. Always sees the specialities of the special souls and he will use it for his task. अच्छा, मीठे मीठे सीखिलदे बच्चों प्रति माता पिता बाप दादा का याद प्यार और गुड मॉर्निंग। रूहानी बाप की रूहानी बच्चों को नमस्ते। हम रूहानी बच्चों की रूहानी माता पिता बाप दादा को याद प्यार गुड मॉर्निंग और नमस्ते नमस्ते। Let's take a minute. Make yourself very comfortable in your speciality, your uniqueness as a special, loving child. Make yourself very comfortable being yourself. That divine angel within become very subtle and become embodiment of all that Baba talks about us. Complete, perfect, full of all virtues, full of divinity, full of all powers, full of strength and honor. Om Shanti. It's a beautiful Murli. So, how did today's Murli brought you closer to your perfect form? How are you going to embody it and sustain that perfect form? Feel free to unmute yourself and share your thoughts from today's Murli.
Om Shanti. Thank
Shanti.
you, Baba. Thank you, Divine Family. And today's my takeaway is very wonderful. Murli Baba rightly said the language of eyes, language of feelings, language of thoughts. It's elevated thought. So this eyes very wonderful. Murli Baba says this language to speaking with the language, one needs a clear intellect and connection. The connection with Baba should be clear to use this service, and there will be a easy success and using this in the service. So it's a very powerful language rather than the what we speak through our words. That makes feel, experience the person and makes a transformation and reveal the Baba. That feeling I got. Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba. And also second point I like the new and thought of new enthusiasm and zeal. It's very important. Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba.
Thank you. The newness, new zeal and new enthusiasm in seva and living up. Girijanen.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Yeah, we can hear you, Girijanen.
So I don't know, I feel there is double voice. Am I? Is it okay?
That is right.
Harshabhai?
Yeah, there is an echo, that is true, but it is okay. We can understand. Oh, I can see.
I think it is not okay.
Yeah, I see you have two logins.
Now how was it?
Now it is better. Yeah.
Harshabhai?
Yes, yes, now better. You had two logins which was echoing each other. Yeah. Now it is better.
Okay. No, I will. Whenever this language of thoughts come, I just think this mind, it's like a mental dynamo. And what three things Baba spoke of here? Unconnected words, feelings, and thoughts. First of all, I was just thinking, what is this two group Baba is saying? Children in the corporeal form and children in the subtle form. Why these two categories of children was because the way Baba is addressing, to whom he is addressing, the content of the Murli generally I feel impacts a lot. So I was trying to settle myself as to which category. What is this gathering of? We all are there in a corporeal form, but Baba sees us in an incorporeal form, and what is the subtle form? I was just trying to settle. Now, coming to this one sentence, of course, when Baba spoke about uh, words, eyes, I feel sometimes this language of words, what I speak, should be understandable. Now, I'm talking to you in English. If you cannot understand English, it will be Latin and French to you. So, words, first of all, that what I call it as the semantic should be very clear between you and me in words, more than even having an impact. If I speak English, you should listen to in English. If you're going to listen in some other language, I don't think I've made an impact. Here, the impact is Baba is talking about impact of words. Eyes, I feel, have a greater influence. See, they always say, a mother can really transform so many things through her eyes to a child. So the child is able to understand what the mother wants to say. Eyes are also beautiful, but eyes, like, they only have signals. Maybe they stimulate your emotion. But the language of thought, I was thinking, what mental language it is, because that has also got a syntax. See, if I am thinking English, if I'm speaking English, I should be thinking in English. And if I'm thinking in English, if the person to whom I'm sending the thoughts, how does he take it? If he does not understand English. That is, this word of language of thoughts is what I was thinking to understand. When a child is born, when a child is born, he doesn't have any kind of a language syntax or anything, they say. So I was thinking, what is the language syntax which that child is able to do? So this two things is what I wanted to explore: language of thoughts and power of thoughts. Power of thoughts, even like they say, you are what you think. As a man thinks, so he will. As he continues to think, so he remains. So I always feel thinking is like an interdialogue. So can you just throw a little line on these two words, language of thought and power of thought? Because that is what Baba has written over here. In the Murli, the language of thoughts is the most elevated language of all, because the power of thought is the most elevated power. It's the original power and the fastest language. If you can throw some more light on the sentence after what I was just sharing, how I'm
Hmm.
thinking my language. I'm thinking in English or Hindi or Telugu or Tamil.
Hmm.
I want to understand that word which Baba has mentioned in the Murli.
Hmm.
If you can just throw some light on that sentence.
Yeah. So one thing that caught my attention is where Baba is telling uh, uh, how to enrich the quality of your language of your eyes or thoughts or feelings. How do you enrich it? So one thing Baba said, like you have to be antarmukhi. So antarmukhi means to remove everything external from your awareness, which means I'm not thinking about how you're going to interpret what I say, right? So then my attention is on you. So antarmukhi means my attention is inside, not about thinking about you, but attention is about on myself. So now the second thing Baba said is I have to go into that sweet stability in that sweet silence. Silence is not just quiet, but not just stillness, but there is sweetness. Sweetness means it is rich. It is rich of something. So now coming back to the language, right? If you actually look at the language of the words, behind every word, even though we both speak the same language, English, I mean, use the word love, and you also will say that, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I understand what love means. But what feelings I'm carrying behind that word love, and whatever experience I have, that labeled it as love. And when I express that word, when you listen to it and then interpret it in your own feeling, how you are going to interpret it may be different from what I am trying to express. Even though I'm using the same word, even though I can use the same analogies, even though I'm using the same language, but when whatever I'm experiencing inside, I want to communicate that to the other person. When they use the same words, whatever they hear, and then based on those words, they create their own interpretation, because every word behind, they have their own personal association of that feeling of love. We don't have a common bank of feelings that we say like, yeah, this is the same thing what you're talking about. We may empathize to some extent, but that is what is a limitation of the words. So but when Baba is talking about use the language of thoughts, so now even though we may be thinking in English or Telugu or Tamil, uh, but before we are framing a sentence in our head, there is certain idea that we want to communicate. So the minute I have a clear concept in my mind, which is not put into words yet, and that is what Baba is actually saying has the power. So when I have a clear idea that Baba, like for example, let's take a point from for us today's Murli, where Baba is telling, look, like Mama was sharing this point, that Baba is the seed of the whole tree. So he is the father of every soul. And this knowledge is relevant for every soul. Whenever they come, whichever branch they belong to, whichever section they belong to, they will get elevated, and then this knowledge is for every soul on earth, because he is the father of every soul, no matter what. So this is an idea, right? So now we put it into words. So now just imagine, I don't have to put it in words, and I have this idea, and then most of the time we I mean, some good number of people will will try to comprehend things visually. I mean, some people have visual memory. So you try to look at the picture of a tree and the seed, and you see like everything is connected to the seed, and then everything that came out of that seed has something about the seed in them. And then you can see that you're not yet put in words, but you created a concept, you create a context. And the context is not just words, context is some backdrop that leads to a sentence, that leads to an idea, that leads to a framework. But the language structure, the semantics, everything creates a framework to express that. And then that framework is what we align. We say like, okay, this structure, most likely you're filling this structure with this thing. But once we hear, we interpret in our own way based on our own personal experiences. So when Baba is telling is your language of thoughts has power, in other words, you haven't put it in words yet. That idea is there. And that is why when we hear that, look, you always need a guru to learn something, which means like when a teacher is clearly explaining a concept, right? So in his mind, the concept is very clear. When the students are very much in tune with the full explanation, full backdrop of it, they totally absorb the whole concept, right? And their learning curve is much faster when somebody else sit with them and then clearly explain. Somebody who clearly understands, who can explain, they quickly absorb it, rather than the same lecture you convert into words and then read the transcript of whatever lecture, you will not comprehend the same way. The words are exactly same, but the thing is the one who created that concept, who's actually expressing, is holding that awareness. And we are actually tuning into that awareness and grasping that context, that whole picture. And then we are using the words to stitch the concept together. And definitely we are using our own understanding to complete it. And wherever there is a discrepancies in our understanding and whatever he is telling, we say like, oh, I don't understand this part, how about this? If this, then that will not happen. And then you just try to clarify. So in other words, we are syncing our mind with the mind of the teacher. Follow, right? So I see the power of thought is more than power of statements in our head. That statement in our head comes after we create this whole concept, whole flow of thinking, or the whole backdrop of that idea, off of which we are creating this statements, which we actually express through words, right? And then if I hold that idea for a little longer time and then give enough pauses for other person to comprehend that, they can absorb it. Follow, right? And then the communication is happening non-verbally, but we are using some words, some statements, but the holding on to that idea, the other person can grasp it. I hope I didn't lose anyone. Does it make sense, Girija?
Thank you. Absolutely.
And especially around the feelings part also. Yeah. So once you carry that feeling, others feel. We create that powerful atmosphere. The minute somebody comes into that atmosphere, when somebody is blissed out, and when you walk in, you feel that joy. And I personally feel if you are around a school, you feel that vibrant energy, you feel that vitality, you feel that new enthusiasm. And if you are around a old age home, and if you are working in an old age home, for example, or let's make it hospice, right? Every day, day in, day out, years together, decades together, you're going there. What will be the kind of energy you'll carry? And if you're working in a school with kids, for example, kindergarten, If you interact with the kids constantly, day in and day out, right? Uh, Without, not the teenagers, they have their own drama, but kids, right? So what kind of energy that you carry home? They're so bubbling with so much energy. There's not too much communication going on, but the kind of energy that you carry is totally different. You see, right? And similarly, the kind of energy that we carry when we go to the Murli class, to the center, and it has total different energy that we walk out, no matter how much drama is going on in our personal life. We go to the Murli class, sit there, tune into that Murli, sit with everyone, enjoy that Murli for 1 hour. And when you walk out, and observe what kind of energy that you walk out with. And you do that every day for decades together. It totally transforms us. And if the same thing, if you keep reading, it will not be the same. Just some thoughts. Anyone else wants to share any thoughts, ideas?
Om Shanti, Harsha bhai, very insightful interactions. And just would like to add one reflection about the thoughts, the power of
Mm-hmm.
thoughts, the language of thoughts, and then there is a language of feelings, which emotions, and
Mm,
then attitude also. There is a language of attitude which gets built up through again, of course, thoughts and
mm,
emotions. They build attitude, and then it creates a memories. So the power of memories, the language of memory, the smriti swarup, that is also once what I visualize, then automatically I'll feel that, and then when what I feel, I mean, what I visualize, it becomes my attitude, and then reverse also, and emotions, and then again it creates its own set of thoughts. So this team, thoughts, emotions, attitudes, and memories, they are a language in itself, language in itself,
mm,
power in itself. And if we have this team with us, then we can definitely we can achieve whatever we want to achieve. Definitely, we can intensify our efforts for becoming realizing our goal. Om Shanti.
mm. Yeah, very true. So the sequence I was just thinking out as you are speaking is Smriti says Sthiti. Sthiti creates your inner atmosphere that creates your vritti. That vritti colors how you see your perception, your drishti, and that is the language of your eyes. Your drishti, the language of your eyes, is coming from your vritti, and vritti is coming from your sthiti, inner atmosphere. And your sthiti is created by what awareness am I in, and that is the memory, right? Like you are pointing out. Very beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, and every Murli is a classic example of this process. Every Murli,
Mm,
whether it is Sakar or Avyak Murli, Baba is
mm,
actually using it very scientifically, how he creates first the Smriti, the memories.
mm,
Then from memory, you will, find how. If he straight away, sometimes he straight away creates a memory. And when the
mm,
memory, when the children plug into that memory, everything downloads, and one can feel that. Uh, so Baba is a very most intelligent, you can say, how to communicate the three-dimensional. Now you said four-dimensional communication. Om Shanti.
mm. Thank you. Rakibel? Okay, so we can have a quick meditation before we wrap up. Just make yourself very comfortable. Become very subtle. Gracefully take your attention to something which is subtle. Make your mind lighter. Make your feelings very gentle. And give yourself some space. Give yourself enough time for your mind and heart to become subtle. Try to savor the sweetness of this inner silence. Feel that sense of lightness growing. Carry this lightness. Wear this double crown of light and love for the rest of the day, to every place and every person throughout the day. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
See you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Until then, have a lovely day.